One thing I really like about this game, and some would say otherwise, but I like the franchise mode. I've always kind of liked franchise mode. I understand there's not enough content. There's not as much content as we would like, but I'll go to Diamond Dynasty here real quick, and I'll show you. So in ranked seasons, a 24 and 10 record. I have a crap average, mostly because the first couple games I just wasn't really getting a hang of it. Um, and then I don't know, I was patting in the 100s, and then eventually I just turned it on, turned it on, turned it on. Decent ERA. Fielding, honestly, there's not a whole lot you can do with fielding. Fielding in this game for a while was just completely busted. But 24 and 10 record, and three of those losses were disconnects that I was winning. And that basically made me not want to play this game. I don't have a bad connection in any other um, game that I play, but this one, for some reason, over the past 4 years now, living in different locations, I've had disconnects like none other. So I still like this game. It's the only baseball game that's really around, and without baseball in real life, it's just, I don't know, it's something that I always play. Typically, though, I will play a lot of franchise, and I am going to go over my user settings real quick. So my user settings aren't anything spectacular. There's probably nothing that you haven't seen before. I do hit on Legend on my franchise. Hitting View, Strike Zone, it's honestly the best. So get used to using it, because that's what all the professionals do. That's what all the good players use is Strike Zone. I used to use Strike Zone 2 about 2 years ago. I liked it. Last year didn't really care for it, so I went back to Strike Zone, and I've been there ever since. In play view, offense doesn't really matter. Dynamic is okay, but medium is just something that I've really been used to again. But it doesn't do anything. I mean, I think medium is there just because I could see the plays better. I can see the hits off the ball better. I can move my plays better. It's just comfortable for me. Hitting interface, zone. If you're not doing zone, something's wrong, because zone has been the meta in this game for what, 5 years now at least. You got to use zone in this game, maybe even more. Um, if you're not using it yet, you're still using directional, and you're wondering, oh, why didn't I put that one out? I put it in the location. It's because you don't have control, right? You can put where the ball is going to go, but you can't put how much power and all that stuff. And although you really can't do that on zone, if you dot the ball up, if you watch my hitting tips video, that ball is going to get out of the park, right? Home runs in this season, in this game, are just, they're flying out of the park. So you got to use zone. Input type buttons, those that use analog, more power to you. It just makes it even harder. Analog type doesn't matter. Plate coverage indicator. So the PCI. This year with the PCI, as most of you guys know, I'm just over a month into the game, since the game has come out mid-March. PCI, as most of you guys are probably aware of, hopefully, there's a big change with PCIs this year. They did an overhaul with them. I like the changes. So PCI center is none. So PCI center, a lot of people would have diamonds. Some people have circles. Altitude, you see a bunch online. You see a bunch. Just in general, everybody uses their own. This is all personal preference. Me in particular, I like to use none. All right. I just recently started using none, and I've noticed my batting average has skyrocketed. And it's mostly because, if you watch my hitting video, I don't know, I just don't like all the extra BS on my screen. I like to be able to dot up the pitches without using a diamond or a circle. You know, you get that PCI in the center, ball's going to go out of the park whether you have a diamond or a circle or anything, right? I just like less clunkiness on the screen, basically. And PCI Enter, again, personal preference. I used to play with Starfighter. Once I really switched to PCI Enter Center with none, I went to Basic, and Basic hasn't really failed me because I'm kind of old school. You know, back in the day, I used to use Wedge. a lot. Again, it's personal preference. I may end up changing it later, but right now, as far as franchise goes, I am cranking balls out of the park. So, PCI outer, again, none. I just don't like the extra BS. I did have it on Starfighter as well, and then basic. I just got rid of it completely. That way, it's just like the smaller little PCI. Again, if you watch my other hitting tips video, which isn't very long, but it just shows you how I hit. PCI color, again, it's it's one of those things. I've changed it a couple times. I had it on red, I had it on black. Yellow is just familiar with me, right? Every game for the last couple seasons now has been on yellow. It looks good on most of the batter's eyes. And it looks good at night. I'm a fan of it. PCI transparency, again, I mean, all of this is all personal preference, but this is particular what I like, 80%. And then PCI fade out, I do have the outer portion. It doesn't really matter because I don't have that on in the first place. Pitching also on Legend. Pitching interface is pure analog. Again, I still see, I've been watching a lot of the MLB players right now playing, and my favorite player on that is Lucas Giolito. I am a huge White Sox fan. He uses meter pitching. I say all the time in chat. Of course, he ignores me. To switch to pure analog, you have more control over your pitches, right? Just like zone hitting, it's just more in your control. So pitch feedback I have on. Pitching view, again, personal preference. Outfield, I used to be the strike zone guy because I used to go by the same logic with the most PCI or most pixels on the screen. Up close you are, the better you're going to do. But for some reason, with having the pitcher, with seeing the pitcher just like in real life, even though I guess that would be technically broadcast, I don't know. I just like the outfield way of looking at things. Again, personal preference. But I've said personal preference a million times. It is what it is, right? Pitching ball marker. So classic. I like the arrows, right? I used to use pitch trail on, and I don't know, for some reason classic. It just, I don't know, it feels better. And again, this is Legend. You want everything that's going to help you. So putting classic fade on is that's a terrible idea in my opinion. Classic on is definitely the way to go. Pitch confidence on, pitch delay normal, API default. Fielding, so this one's huge. A few of my buddies still refuse to switch to button accuracy. Basically, button and button accuracy is what most people are going to use. Button, you hold it down a certain amount, you get the little arrows. It tells you, however many arrows you hold it down is how hard you're going to throw it. The only problem with that is it's all out of your control. And with this game, the amount of errors, especially playing with the White Sox in my franchise mode, having Tim Anderson, getting some of those balls, his fielding enough is not that great. Phenomenal hitter, but his fielding in this game is in the 60s. So already getting shots to him, he's going to bobble a few balls, but now I'm putting it in the game's hands. I'm putting it in the game's hands for buttons? Absolutely not. Button accuracy is the way to go. Road to the show, throwing interface, showtime, or road to the show, doesn't matter. I may be making some road to the show content later if I have more subscribers, but right now, not too worried about. Throw meter on, fielding decision assist. This helps too because, like it even says, the game will move your fielder a few steps towards the ball. This year they added for the outfielders, maybe even the infielders too, but the outfielders will actually take that first step. So players like Mike Trout, really like phenomenal outfielders, I guess, Byron Buxton, those guys will go directly to the ball without really a big hesitation, whereas terrible fielders will make like even a step in if the ball is to the wall, and then they have to make up for it. I like that they put that in there because it's not an automatic out on flyouts anymore and stuff. It puts that human element into the game as much as it can with the first couple steps. Throwing decisions off in play defense, again, medium. It's personal preference. Throw canceling, I think, is crucial because there are situations where I have gotten in, okay, I can get that guy out at first, or, he's going home. I should actually gone home with it. I can cancel that and see that there's a guy with 20 speed that's going home. I can throw him out now because throw canceling. Or say there's a guy like Adalberto Mondesi on first base. Ball is hit to your third baseman, in my case, Moncada. And I already start preloading second base, but he's already 3/4 of the way there, and I might not get him. I can just go ahead and throw cancel that back to first base. It's going to give so whatever you go towards second base, all you have to do is basically tap first base. It's going to give that recommendation to first base, and you're going to have a perfect pass, perfect throw. One button dive jump, I don't use it. I like using the separate buttons personally. It's just more comfortable. Again, more in my control. Auto infield jump reaction on, infield dive reaction on. It just helps you. It's there to help you. Especially considering I'm coming from an outfield camera setting. It's self-explanatory really. Catcher position indicator on. Doesn't really matter, honestly, on Legend. They don't show it anyway. I don't even think they give you a recommendation for pitch. No, I know they don't. So defensive shift, auto. This is something every day I toy with. Should I take it off? Should I keep it on? If I take it off, will they still shift on double plays? That's something that I have to get more familiar with. But the shift in this game is players that get shifted a lot. For instance, I'll give Joey Gallo a shout out. Joey Gallo hitting out of a lefty spot. Everybody shifted to the right. I don't know how many times, it's like the third or fourth series of the franchise, he went opposite just because he was late, right? Not hitting into the shift at all. A true pull hitter, even if he's late, he's probably going to pop that up or something. He's not going to put it right down the line, right down the third base line if he's a lefty hitter, So MLB The Show really has to work with the way that people shift in this game. I don't know. I think it hurts me more than not, to be honest. And then off the ball ribbon, this one helps you see where the ball's hitting off the wall. There's that little gray ribbon or white ribbon that'll show you the trajectory of the ball after it hits it. I think it's important to have. So again, don't want to spend too much on this. Didn't want to make this video that long, but strike zone on, hot zones, pitching preview. Honestly, I don't really care about the hot zones. Because if you hang a curveball, you hang a curveball. It doesn't matter where their hot zone is, especially on Legend. Warm-up relievers off. I still warm them up all the time because I'm used to it from playing Diamond Dynasty, but it's just to speed up. It takes about 40-45 minutes each game, and sometimes even longer, especially when you're trying to locate pitches well, which I will have a pitching tutorial eventually later. But, it's your personal preference, but I like it off. Dynamic difficulty updates, I don't do dynamic anything. Tutorial tips, I have those off. Post-game autosave, if you want to keep it on, you can. I have it on because I am playing every game of my franchise, and if I get blown out 10-0, I get blown out 10-0. I live with that. Scoreboard display, all this stuff. Balks I have off just because I like the quick pitch. Balks very seldom get called in real life anyway. Umpire accuracy, I think I hit on this a little bit for a couple seconds on my hitting tutorial. Personalized is the way to go. It makes it more realistic. You're not always going to get that call, and sometimes you are going to get that call. Umpire close plays I have on. Check swing appeals on. Injuries on. It's just something new this year. I had a few guys. I had like 4 guys already out, and I just hit early May. It's just realistic. I like to keep it as realistic as possible. Ejections, it's always in here. But I've never seen anybody ejected in this game the past 5 years. Maybe more, I don't know. Vibration on, some people don't like it. I personally like it when I'm pitching. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these settings. They're probably not too far off from what you guys have, and yeah, just give me a like if you guys would, and subscribe, and I'll get you guys some more content, especially for franchise. All right.